Welcome to Willow Healing Matters, the podcast. We are so excited to have you joining us on this journey where we explore different ways to empower your soul, whether it's healing in your kitchen or all the way up in the corporate world. Come with us as we look into different ways to heal your mind, body, and soul.
My virtual obsession, my romantic thriller, is now available on Amazon and other online retailers. This book explores the intersection of loneliness, love, and how chasing perfection through technology can lead to fantasy and reality colliding. My virtual obsession out now.
Hey everyone, it's Catherine Crestani with another episode of Willow Healing Matters, and today I am joined by Benjamin Bressington, also known as Ben the Mushroom Guy. He's the founder of Bear Remedy, a holistic health company on a mission to help 1 million people a year take back control of their health using nature's most powerful remedies, like the wild mushrooms. With a background in law and criminology from Australia, Ben spent over a decade advising Fortune 1000 companies on behavior design and gamified persuasion strategies. He later founded AutomateBoring.net, which he helps businesses streamline operations using all AI and automation. So now, as the voice behind Bear Remedy's Medicine Man, combines ancient wisdom with cutting-edge science, offering daily wellness protocols, immune-boosting supplements, and simple guidance for real healing. He is also the author of several books, including People Ignorant, Unlocking Success, Confidence, and Influence. When he's not formulating mushroom-based remedies, you'll find him cycling or RVing across the US with his sidekick Bailey, the world's sassiest Cocker Spaniel. So a big welcome to the show, Ben.
Hey, I'm excited to be here.
What an amazing biography to read. I love how you've just been all these spans of life, but how did you land into the wild mushroom world that you're in now?
It was really by chance. So I helped scale a company from about 250 grand to $150 million in business done in less than 9 months. I built up the automation solutions, was extremely burnt out. And just before my partners were meant to give me a big payday of several $1 million, 2 days before, they decided to fire my ass in a way that they thought they wouldn't have to pay me my payouts, because they're like, hey, if we just fire him and just run off the business now, we won't have to pay him and we'll just take all his stuff. And as a result, and funny, they did it literally as I was just going into the mountains for a few days off, since I hadn't had any days off in like 8 months. So like they intentionally did this, which resulted in a little bit of depression and a little bit of an identity crisis of myself, going, I just invested 20 hours a day for the last 8 months into this. I invested everything I had to build up the systems and the teams and the technology and absolutely everything. And then you kind of like, you get that email and you're like, what the living, like in the words of the Virgin Mary, come again? Like what? And it's just like, that sends you on a little path of depression. And funny enough, I just had an opportunity appear when I was kind of stumbling around going, well, what do I really want to do and what makes me happy? And it's kind of like my probably 10th midlife crisis. And it was just like, well, I actually did a land deal, which resulted in me acquiring a mushroom company as part of a land deal. And that got me into the world of mushrooms. And I knew nothing about mushrooms, wasn't really taking mushrooms, enjoyed eating mushrooms. I had never done a mushroom trip, like any of that stuff, right? So I was like completely virginal to the world of mushrooms. I'm like, you know what? It's got nothing to do with marketing. It's got nothing to do with the companies I was involved with previously, or having to consult to Fortune 100 companies around the world where you have meetings about the agendas of future meetings and like all that BS that I'm like, life is too short for this shit. I'm like, yeah, I'm just going to sell mushrooms and just be a rolling hippie. And then, because I remember the days of going through Byron Bay and that area there, like it's a beautiful part of the country. And I'm like, man, this seems to be something. It's way better than practicing law, that's for sure. So, yeah, it just got me down to the world of mushrooms. And then I was just constantly going, how do we create a better product? How do we create a better product? Because I was completely disgusted in the mushroom industry and what was going on and how they put the true healing of it second or third after profits first. And I was just like, if you can create a great product, like a product that, like we're a mushroom company that goes, try my product. If you don't feel any benefits within 30 minutes, just don't even buy our stuff. Only 5% of people buy our product because They feel something in as little as 5 minutes. Their brain fog disappears, all this type of stuff. But it requires me to not compromise on the integrity of the product, on how the product is produced, the extraction methodology, all of that type of stuff. And doing so is allowing us to build this mushroom movement where we started in the world of tinctures, creating super high quality tinctures that really help people, brain fog, menopause, energy, relaxation, insomnia, sleep, that type of stuff. Now we're moving into mushroom jerky, mushroom bacon, and a few other mushroom based meals. And just continuing to expand. So that's kind of really been the eclectic journey. And I didn't really even take the mushroom business seriously. Like when I was 16, I used to go from Rockhampton, Queensland, Brisbane, Queensland. It's the bottom of the Great Barrier Reef for anyone who actually knows which side of the country that is on. And that's not the Perth side for anyone in the US. They always go, that's close to Perth, right? I'm like, oh yeah, just a short drive, just down the road. I usually tell most Americans I'm from South Boston. And they're like, oh, yeah, I hear the accent now. I'm like, oh, you've never traveled, right? So, so when I was 16, I used to go to Hong Kong, go to trade shows, and I would find products and then sell those products online. Back in 2000, that was an e-commerce store. That was a Yahoo e-commerce store. And I was a 16-year-old doing products. So selling stuff online has always been what I've done. And I just was like, my first year in business selling the mushroom supplements, we literally were selling mushroom supplements while I did 40,000 miles traveling around the US in my RV. And it was at the end of that year, I'm like, holy shit, there may be something more to this. Like, let's take this a little bit more seriously. Now I'm building a 28-acre mushroom farm, and we're bringing in a whole bunch of interesting mushroom tech to the US that has never existed here because being Australian, I bring an international perspective, if that makes sense.
Yes, it does. Well, also, you're not bound by the culture that you're living in, I guess, because when
no.
Yes, knowing exactly where you are. Yes, and it comes to what perspective, and then because you've got that unique background and you've always, you know how to market it, you know how to sell it. It's like, no, now I want to focus on what actually matters to me, like you said, and coming back to creating a quality product that people actually find the benefit from so that they can be themselves again, right? And not get stuck in all the meetings about meetings. And I know exactly what you're talking about, where it's like, this could have been an email. This didn't have to be a 40-minute meeting of my life. This could have been a 2-minute email.
Exactly. And then it comes down to like, well, at the end of the day, like life is short. Like, and the things that have happened over the last few years really show you like, okay, what's really going to matter? I'm a big believer that I believe over the next few years, there's going to be a massive food impact on fresh food, impact on quality food, impacting on food you want to eat, everything from seeds to we're already starting to see a hiccup in the packaging arena for food, or packaging for anything, but like packaging for food. So like if you can't get the packaging for food, manufacturing companies aren't even going to be able to release product because there's going to be no plastics. So there's going to be a whole bunch of interesting things happening that I don't think most people are prepared for. And when you're talking about your health, it becomes very, very interesting on how do you have some sovereignty with your health and understand that, hey, the systems that we thought we could trust aren't actually there to get us healthy. They're there to keep us in the system.
Yes.
And that's why when you start looking at some of these treatments like mushrooms or aerodomes, oh, that's bad. Like I literally had 5,000 clients of a product last year on a product they were getting off cannabis, loving it because the mushroom would actually help with pain and inflammation. And the mushroom would actually help with brain clarity, not cause brain fog like CBD or cannabis does, right? Yet the FDA, this magical organization that knows best for everybody's health, right, ruled that this mushroom is a bad mushroom. And I looked at their research and I'm like, did you make this shit up off Wikipedia or a Reddit post or like where the hell is this research coming from? Because I've got 3,000 plus case studies that have been documented for in excess of 100 years that show none of this bullshit. And they literally ban the product. And the way they ban the products here in the US is they pass a ruling and then they make the banks enforce it. And I know in the UK, they've actually already banned 2 forms of mushrooms, cordyceps and reishi, which have been
Really?
clinically, yeah, they've in the UK. So I
Yes.
actually had to pull back a whole bunch of inventory around the world. We were shipping around the world, but then all of a sudden it just started becoming problematic. We could no longer sell in Sweden or Europe. There was issues in our French distribution and all this type of stuff. And it's just, there's this whole turmoil happening with holistic alternatives. And then, so like, I actually had to recall all of our stock internationally from all around the world. And now we're just focusing on the US, getting those systems right, getting everything operational here, which is unfortunate because we had hundreds of people internationally who are greatly benefiting and we can literally no longer serve.
Which is so fascinating. But it's really interesting too, because it's like in New Zealand, right? Vitamin C, you have to now get through prescription. And I'm like, but it's vitamin C that you can't really overdose on it or anything. Like you can, but you're just going to end up going to the toilet a lot and maybe throwing up. But at the same time, it's not going to lead to your death. And it's really interesting when you start to look at the studies and the doses of things that they give. And when you look deeper into the evidence and who funds the studies and who, where you start to trace and go deeper and you ask better questions that you
Well, that's
realize,
if people can ask better questions. Because what's funny is
yeah,
my degrees in Australia taught me one thing was to ask quality questions or ask logical questions and do your own research. Where here in the US, research is a TikTok case study. And the thing is like the crap that people come to me with is ridiculous. I'm just like, where on God's green earth did you get all of this data? Oh, I saw all these TikTok videos about it. I'm like, yeah, like that's the caliber of research. And there's a massive issue I know of influencers who are literally just hyping things, not understanding the ramifications of what they do to people because they're influenced. And like they say stuff that they will never do, but they do it for hype and attention. So it's a fascinating game when you're looking at holistic health, and what gets hyped isn't actually necessarily what's best.
yeah. And I find that, so I'm very much one that teaches people, especially my clients, to use their own discernment and trust what aligns for them. We have different body makeups, we have different gut biomes, everything like that. What works for one person might not work for another person. So it's like if you feel that you resonate with the type of mushroom over another, then go with that. If that works for you, then go with that. If not, and then don't do that. Trust how you feel, not what everyone's telling you. Even the biohacking movement at the moment, and I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but I'm like, how about you just go outside? Like I was just, there were certain things I was like, but you can go outside and you
Yeah,
can
but if I wear this headlight sensor, I can sit on the couch while I'm watching TV, eating my like bag or whatever. Like I'm just a bit like, here's something that's very, very interesting. GLP-1, GLP-2, huge, right? We're actually just about to bring in, because we've been making a candy line, a hard candy line. And because we're doing a jerky, we don't use anything artificial. I don't use any artificial colors or flavorings, anything like that. And with our jerky, we're about to bring in a Japanese sugar of all things, a Japanese sugar, because it's the standard sugar offered in Japan in all of their drinks, because a lot of the other sugars are actually banned because
interesting.
they know they're not good for them. And this one sugar is so clean. It actually comes from dates and prunes and things like that. And it actually stimulates GLP-1 and GLP-2. So you can have sugar to actually cause weight loss. And like I had no idea about it when I started reading it and reading this research on it and what the Japanese do with it. I was just like, whoa, this stuff is actually really freaking cool. And it doesn't have that shitty aftertaste because it's actually a proper cleaner sugar. And it's not, and I love how like they make the brown cane sugar, but it's literally food coloring on white sugar.
I'm just laughing because it's like all those fake things, right? So it's like that whole like fats are bad for you, right? Like yes, there's good fat and bad fat, but at the same time it's that whole like fats are bad for you. And then, oh, but we're going to put sugar in there instead, because we've taken out all the flavor and taken out all the fat. And I remember years and years ago, like I said to somebody, they're like, oh, why don't you have low fat milk? I'm like, because I can burn off the fat, but I can't burn off the sugar or whatever else they're putting in there. Like, I don't know what those chemicals are. I didn't know anything else, Ben. I just said that, intuitively. And they're like, I guess you can burn off the fat. I'm like, yeah. And then it turns out we should go back to cooking with fats, and we should go back to having, like avocados, which apparently got a bad rap, and, everything else. But it's the
Well, it's
same.
everything in moderation. But what you said, I think, is one
Yes.
of the things you actually said is actually really, really smart that most people don't understand with any holistic health, and it's dosage and potency.
Yes.
Like everyone cites, like for example, everyone cites the case studies with lion's mane, how it can reverse Alzheimer's and dementia and help with brain fog and things like this. But what they don't say is it's 3,000 milligrams. And what is that in a dosage? So therefore, if you're to take that every single day, what does that look like? And is the product you're taking, does it even, like a lot of them don't even have 3,000 milligrams in the entire offering. All right. So the thing is dosage and potency becomes a dirty word in this industry. And I tell people, look, I offer you a clinical dose in every dropper full. This is why you feel it in 15 minutes. Like it may be strong, right? But this is why we're all going to put our big girl panties on, right? And we're actually going to have something that's good for us rather than be like, oh, well, let me have this. They're like, could you make it taste sweeter? So you want me to fill it with the artificial stuff so it's easier for you. Like, I'm like, it's just like a fireball shot. Like, it's not the worst thing in life, but it facilitates you to actually feel better, right? So dosage and potency is very, very important. And in this space, I've learned that most people really don't understand what questions to ask when it comes to dosage and potency, nor do they understand different extraction types and how they get demystified by marketing. And I can happily explain that to you if it makes any of your clients of interest, because if you can understand these things around dosage and potency, you'll understand how to choose better quality supplements. And it's not necessarily what you think.
Well, I have a really practical example of this, and it's not to do with mushrooms, but when I was pregnant, like I was looking for just supplements to take before I fell pregnant. So folic acid is the big one, right? Everyone talks about folic acid, helps, counteracts the spina bifida. Anyway, but I went in with knowing my dosages of what I was meant to have a day, right? So I went in with that knowledge and I pull up the common supplement that all the women get told to take, and it wasn't even a 10th of the folic acid that you needed to actually counteract this. So I was sitting there going, well, why would I buy this when it doesn't even, like I'd have to have 10 of these tablets in order to get enough. That's not going to balance out. And I guess that's where, exactly like you said, knowing that dosage and the potency that you need, and also the quality of what it is, because, even if you take fish oil, some fish oils are not the same as other fish oils. Like they're actually not good for you. Vitamin C, some types of vitamin C aren't good for you, whereas the other ones are more likely to be absorbed in your body. So I guess from the mushroom perspective, do you want to share where that kind of comes in?
Yeah. So there's a study out there actually about some of the leading mushroom capsules, because some people are like, oh man, I don't take that mushroom coffee stuff because it tastes like crap. All right. Well, we will side note that and we'll talk about that in a minute. But I 100% agree that shit tastes like crap, and life is too short for shitty wine, shitty coffee, and shitty people. So
yes,
most mushroom capsules out there, or even a lot of the other supplement capsules out there, I do know it's specifically related to mushrooms, are 42% sawdust.
What?
42% filler. So just think about that. You're taking a big name product. This is the big name ones, right? The big money ones. And it's 42% sawdust, dirt, crap. Now you're putting that into your system and you're wondering, man, why am I just not running smooth? Why do I feel foggy when this thing's meant to help me think clearly, right? Why is this thing the size of a horse pill? Because if it's not big in the US, nobody takes it seriously. And an example of that. Exactly. Like it supersized me, right? Like you come to the US, you put on 20 pounds. It's just how it is. So the thing is I released a mushroom gummy last year and we did a lot of testing with this. And our mushroom gummy, I'm like, I wanted a gummy you can feel, right? So we had one gummy in comparison to our competitors where you'd have to eat 8 to 12 of their gummies to even get anywhere close, right? So, but people were like, but I take one of your gummies and I don't feel like I've had enough. I just want more of them. So they actually wanted less powerful things that they could eat more frequently rather than having just one powerful one to get on with their day, which makes it very fascinating understanding what people are actually looking for versus what they need. But when you're talking about dosage and potency, I'll explain the different methods of extraction and in a way that every Australian can understand, because it took me a long time to understand this. So I'll distill several years of research and knowledge in this space. So when you talk about, okay, here's a test for you, Catherine, to see how your skills are. Would you describe a water-based extraction?
Water-based extraction.
Yeah, so most tinctures, extractions of any lotion, potion, herb, whatever, they start as a water-based extraction. What would be a metaphor? What would be an analogy? How would you describe it to a layman? Look at the brain working here.
Yeah, look at my brain working.
I can see the smoke off this one. I didn't tell you you're going to need more caffeine for this call.
I don't drink coffee, so that's funny. But the image I get is that you soak it in water and the nutrients goes out into the water, and then the water captures whatever it is that soaks out of the plant or the herb that you put in it.
100% correct. So it's no different to boiling pasta in a bowl.
Yeah.
When you heat pasta on the stove to cook your noodles, to cook your spaghetti bolognese, right? The water you tip down the sink, that's a water-based extraction. And you can go from a water-based extraction to a bottle on a shelf in less than an hour. But what most people don't tell you is the potency and the bioavailability of that. I've had people tell me that bioavailability doesn't matter. I'm like, so you'd rather just have expensive urine? Like what? Like if your body can't process what you're putting in, what do you mean bioavailability doesn't matter? I'm like, why even have it in the first place if your body can't process it? So a water-based extraction is nothing any different to extracting. So that's 5 to 10% bioavailability. The next one is an alcohol-based extraction. And I have a lot of people go, oh my God, Ben, alcohol, that's terrible. You can't use alcohol-based extractions.
Anyway.
I'm like, yeah, but did you know that specifically with mushrooms, the compounds, the terpenes, some of the oils, some of the beta-glucans, you can only get the benefit of them through the alcohol-based extraction. So some of the benefits you need actually need to come from an alcohol-based extraction. And when people go, is that really? I'm like, yeah, but I eat it fresh. Okay, cool. That's great. But it's not the most potent way to consume that. So the form of extraction we use is spagyric extraction. So the bioavailability, if you do a water-based extraction, then with an alcohol extraction, is somewhere between about 20 and 30%, which is some companies will do it. It costs a little bit more. It takes a little bit longer. So you've got to have a company who does want quality, but then they can compromise it with the glycerins and the sugars and everything they start to use, right? Because at the end of the day, it's a money game. And then the most potent form of extraction, which takes 8 to 12 weeks per product, and you can do it for every single one of your ingredients, is what they call spagyric alchemy or spagyric extraction. Spagyric, if you've got to put that into Google Translate. And what that requires is it requires a water extraction and alcohol extraction. And then we take the mushrooms and the herbs and everything we use that we run through the water and the alcohol, and we turn it into white ash. We calcify it, we burn it. We light it on fire.
Yeah.
And why do you do that? Because then you're extracting all of the nutrients, all of the fats, all of the minerals, all of the oils. And that's why a spagyric extraction will be a little bit cloudier. And a lot of people actually say it's what's bringing they go, it feels like these tinctures are alive. Because if you go back on the metaphysical side, you're literally applying all of the spirit energy of that plant. And this is why spagyric alchemy is one of the oldest forms of alchemy for any holistic process. Because it's what the old alchemists used to make water into wine. This is how they used to extract living elements. And it's funny that ancient alchemy was about living energy, yet modern medicine is just about dead synthetics, which is where did we go wrong? What the hell happened?
Well, I think a lot of us know, but we're not going to have that conversation today.
Exactly. So there's a quick explainer for people about the different types of extraction. So if you see something that's a water only extraction, just go pee in a cup and drink that, because that's pretty much how good it really is, right? If you're looking for a minimum cheaper form of extraction, yes, water, alcohol, it's got to be that at a minimum. Otherwise, you're kidding yourself, to be honest. Go save your money, go buy a lotto ticket, or go play bingo with grandma, go do something else, right? If you're really looking for something high caliber, Spagyric extraction is the ultimate way to go. And this is where you'll start to notice and feel things. You don't have to wait for them to build up in your system over 3 months, because that's marketing hyperbole for this shit don't work. So just
Keep
buy it
buying
longer
it.
because
Yeah. Yeah.
you haven't allowed it to build up in your system. There should be nothing to build up in my system. Like, this is what's going on. Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
Yeah, because, well, also from my perspective, like if you have to let it build up, what else is building up? Like if your body's not taking it and then using it straight away, where is it being stored to be built up? Because for someone that has had to, learn how to detox my liver and detox my kidneys and pull all the toxins and things that got stuck in there, if they're saying that it needs to build up, where is that being stored in your body?
Oh, that's a fascinating conversation and question. And I love the people who are going, I'm giving up gluten. Oh, okay. How long did you give it up for? Oh, I gave it up for the week. I'm like,
Good.
you are aware that gluten stays in your system for 21 days. So if you haven't given up said gluten for at least a month, you're wasting your time. And they look at me like, what? That's hard. I'm like, yeah, it ain't easy. But like,
Alcohol's the same too. Yeah.
this is the debt. Like, and this is what, like, when you really start getting into this industry, everything has a debt. You're either like an energy drink, you're bypassing your energy crash or your fatigue. You're debting that on. And it comes down to, well, how much, like, I get offered 100 different ways to compromise my products every single day, on the ingredients, on the quality, on the sourcing, and like to the point that we're now going to be growing our own so we can guarantee the quality of the product. And I'm not putting any countries down, because actually, like, some countries, what I find fascinating here in the US, and I'll say that because I'm an immigrant, that some of the actual research and technologies that the Asian countries have with growing some of these herbs is 1,000 times better than what's here in the US, because they grow them from a different methodology, and they grow them more holistically. Where here it's like, hey, we only want to maximize and profitize the cap of the mushroom, so we will like exploit it, and then we'll add all these chemicals to it to boost it. I'm like, but why? Like, well, this is what the big guy in the industry teaches here. I'm like, but why? Yeah.
I laugh because when we go shopping, we try and buy as much organic as we can, and we try and grow what we can. But there's so many other things that you have to fight with.
You know what's funny?
Yeah.
You know what's funny is people go, "Oh, Ben, are your mushrooms organic?" I'm like,
They're chemical free.
mushrooms grow on shit. How much more organic do you want mushrooms?
And mushrooms can
Do-
actually be planted, and they actually take the heavy metals out of the soil too. So if
Well, that's a different thing.
That's a different.
That's a
thing,
different
right?
thing. Like, we'll talk
Yeah.
about microremediation after this. But the thing is like, if you use any form of chemicals with your mushrooms, you'll kill them. So people go, "Oh, I want the organic certification." I'm like, it doesn't exist. Like, it's impossible to get, because we don't have the chemical processes to then do the organic part. Like, yeah. So it's like,
This is why I laugh, right? Because we have chickens and they eat everything. And I'm like, I can't guarantee that worm hasn't been at my neighbor's place and somehow worn down and she sprays with pesticides. So how can I say that they've eaten?
well, it's leaching. That's the
Right?
problem of leaching.
Yeah.
And I have a big, people go, "Well, Ben, do you forage mushrooms in the wild?" I forage mushrooms. I'm like, no, I don't. And I don't recommend it, because you don't know what chemicals have been sprayed in any one area or have ran down a hill. I'm talking, so we're actually had an opportunity come our way, and we're starting up a sister brand. And the sister brand's actually all focused on microremediation. So waste remediation, plastic remediation, all using mushrooms and fungi. And we're even going to be creating textiles. And all this type of stuff. And it's coming out of our lab, which is the same thing where we're about to release mushroom bacon. So mushroom that like looks and tastes like bacon, but it's 100% mushroom, which phenomenal. And I'm working with like award-winning chefs to design these recipes. And so like, it's really, really cool. But as you said, mushrooms can take out PFAs, take out toxins, take out heavy metals. So the mushroom you're picking may be good, right? Maybe the good version, not the dark version that makes you see the little green men, right? Or blue men, or like it makes you dance in a field naked. We all know we want to go there, right? And it's a lot of fun. So the thing is going in the wild and picking mushrooms when you don't know what's happened on that land? Because I have spoken with cities that their philosophy was, we've got a waste issue. So what we're doing is we're trucking our waste up that mountain and we're letting it freeze up this mountain. And now their issues is said waste is no longer freezing. Said waste is running down hills that it never ran down before and contaminating farms that never got contaminated before. Because these decisions may have got made in the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s. And, right? So the thing is yes, wild mushroom foraging can be phenomenal, right? It can be a lot of fun, but you have to be aware of the stupidity of others, and they may have done silly things, or there may be a chicken farm 2 miles down the road, or a cow farm, or an animal farm, or damn, there just may be a farm down the road. Like,
Yes.
where is
Yes.
all of those fertilizers flowing? Where is that Roundup going?
Mm.
It dare wouldn't go on the hill down here.
Well, we're having that issue in Australia at the moment, in South Australia, where the government organised for these chemicals to run off into the ocean, and now all the animals are showing up dead on the shore, and they're trying to deny it, even though their signatures are on everything. So it's really interesting seeing that. Or even in Tasmania, they decided to put all these antibiotics through the salmon farms, and it leached out into the water, and everyone's like, no, we're not touching Tasmanian salmon. Like, even people who don't care about this knew about it, and they're like, no, we're not buying Tasmanian salmon. So they actually
in
ruined
Florida,
the whole market. Yeah.
In Florida, they have a red algae problem. The red algae came from sewage spills. So it keeps cycling around because it's just this big sewage swamp that literally is floating in the sea that kind of keeps washing on shore every few years. And as a result, it contaminates everything. And then it contaminates the fish, it contaminates the wildlife, and then it just gets circled around. And the huge issue here in the US with waste is PFAs. And if you don't know what a PFA is, it's the drugs you've peed out. And that could be your birth control, it could be your depression medication, it could be your Prozac, it could be the ADHD medications, it could just be your vitamin C, right? It could be whatever it is. That is literally getting into the earth, and that's coming back up in your vegetables. Your vegetables are now testing for literally Prozac. So now everyone's eating this stuff, and it's just becoming this circle, and it's a huge issue because in waste treatment up until today, they didn't treat for drug stuff in waste treatment, like, because it wasn't really a problem.
And then some cities recycle it and put it through your drinking water, so then you're drinking it. So then all of a sudden you have hormone problems when you never had hormone problems, and all you've done is drink water. But that's a whole other podcast, right? Like, it's follow the stuff.
When you start looking at this holistic stuff, it gets quite fascinating on, like, hey, there's a whole bunch of stuff. And I'm not telling you to run out and get this water filter or that. Like, it's just, you have to become aware of what is going on in the environment. And there's been decisions made by people that aren't in your best interest, no matter what they say or what they claim or who really they are. And it's about taking responsibility for yourself to go, hey, like, let me understand what this is. Let me just understand how to make a better choice. And buying organic isn't necessarily the best option. And
especially when the supermarket chain you're in only has one brand of organic, and it comes from the supermarket chain that you're in. So then I'm like, this is confusing. But that's but it's just food for thought, right? It's like, okay.
Or organic out of India and organic out of Brazil isn't the same as organic out of the Sunshine Coast. Like, it's totally different
from the farm, right? Like, it's just, you just have to, and getting to know where your product comes from, I think, is the other point we've been highlighting here, because knowing how it's grown, knowing the people who are growing it, and knowing that that's the best interest, this is where, you start to be more curious, and you start to ask quality questions and not use your TikTok research, going the full circle where we started, right? And coming back to, okay, what's the quality, and what's this person who values, giving me
who
this,
funded the research? Is a phenomenal question, because there's a whole bunch of people in the mushroom research the world right now going, mycelium is just as good as fruiting body. And I may have just said several words that people are like, what? Yeah, so let me explain it to you in a very, very simple way. I explain it in this way, and most people are like, oh, I get it now. So, look, I have got a phenomenal banana smoothie, but I've got 2 options on the banana smoothie, okay? And I'm gonna allow you to choose which banana smoothie you want. So, I've got a banana smoothie made out of fresh bananas where we peel them back, like the skins of virgins. It's all really, really good, right? Like, so we put the fruit of the banana into all of our things, right? So you can have that banana smoothie, or I got one that's significantly cheaper. So it's like half the price, right? But what we do is we take the tree of the banana and the dirt, and we pull the banana tree out of the dirt. We crush it into a fine powder, and we put it in your smoothie, right? This is like 25 cents on the dollar. It still produces banana fruit, but it never had any fruit on the tree when we pulverized it. It should still taste like banana when we add this artificial flavoring to it. So are you okay with the cheaper banana smoothie? And most people are like, I'd never drink that shit. I'm like, yet you are.
Exactly. Concentrate's my favorite word to avoid.
Yeah, so that's the difference between mycelium and fruiting body. Mycelium is the roots and the dirt of stuff, where fruiting body of a mushroom is the banana of the mushroom. Like if you understand a button mushroom, that white mushroom we all see in the grocery store, the thing that actually pops out. Yes, that's that. And that's the fruiting body, right? And that's what you want in all of your medications, all of your tinctures, all of the skin creams you get from a mushroom, all should be fruiting body, not the mycelium basis. Because the mycelium is the cheapest sawdust, the dirt of all mushrooms. So that's just a disclaimer to anyone. Make sure if you're getting some mushrooms, yes, you can get them on Amazon. Yes, you can get them at the grocery store chains. But when you get mushrooms for $19, I can pretty much promise you that you're getting the cheapest form of that
The
product.
mycelium. It's
Yeah.
interesting from an energetic point of view because the fruiting body would obviously be where the life energy of the mushroom is, whereas the mycelium is more the networks and everything that's connected underneath. And it's like you're processing too much and nothing at once. It's really weird, but
It's quite
anyway.
fascinating. Yeah. And the
Yeah.
quality of it, you absolutely can notice. So we've learned a lot about dosage and potency and different extraction methodologies and what to look for. Now, what I was talking about the coffee is most of these mushroom coffees out there, like what I love is they go, we have a proprietary blend of mushrooms. And the secret here in the US, I didn't even know this. The secret here in the US is 2% of the ingredient you're claiming is in there when you say proprietary ingredient, proprietary blend, only has to be your raw ingredient. So if I say it's lion's mane, but a proprietary blend, 2% has to be lion's mane. 98% could be diesel gasoline.
Sawdust.
Yeah. And but so when you talk about a lot of syrups or flavorings or whatever, they are literally no different to diesel fuel products, gasoline-based products, because a lot of them are gasoline derivatives. When I talk to my lab technicians, it gets really freaking scary because I'm like, I was eating what for the longest time and wondering why I had stomach issues. Like, what?
It's like in Australia, we have Vapor Rub, and it literally says on it petroleum jelly or Vaseline, petroleum jelly. And people are like, what do you mean it's made from petrol? I said, it literally says petroleum jelly on it. Like, it's made from petrol. No, it can't be. I'm like, it's there, but people can't believe it. They can't accept that. And it's like, even when you start to go into vegetable oils and all that and why they made it and what it does to your body. Anyway, but yes, so mushroom coffee.
Yeah, like life is too short for shitty coffee, right? So the thing is having a coffee you enjoy and being able to turn that into a superfood is way better. So add a tincture, take a shot of a mushroom tincture. One of the best ways to absorb it. Absorbing mushrooms through a gummy is a different absorption methodology, and the body processes a gummy totally different to a raw tincture under your tongue.
Yes.
It may taste a little worse because it doesn't have the sweeteners, and it's not meant to taste like candy, right? So you want to just factor this into the choices on how you're consuming these products because, yeah, you can get it in gummy form, but there's a whole bunch of other sugars and sweeteners and flavors and like it doesn't exist in a candy form in the tree. Like it just doesn't exist.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. And I Yeah, and if anyone's studied like herbalism and things, they talk about this, that your body ingests and takes in herbs different ways. You can smell it, you can put it on your skin, you can put it under you, and then you get it through the digestive tract. Like there is lots of different ways you can take it in. But as we start to finish our time together, Ben, I asked the guests that come on the show, if you could heal or change something in the world, what would it be?
I would heal people's ability to process foods in a cleaner way. So like less intestinal tummy issues. And this was someone who I didn't realize I was pretty much dairy intolerant all my life. I can remember many a time being sick. Like I thought eating a meal meant you go to the bathroom within 5 minutes and then you continue eating and then you go back to the bathroom and then you just continue eating. And I say, when I first got married, got the taste slapped from my mouth because it was my ex-wife that determined that I was lactose intolerant. I did not know. So I found it really hard giving up the butters and the ice cream and the dairy and all this type of stuff. But the benefit of that is significantly huge. And when you talk to people, they're just not aware of how upset or how messed up their stomach is. And if you can't process the nutrients and you can't eat right, and if you're not eating quality, it really doesn't matter. And I'm not saying you got to go spend $100 on every single meal. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm like, just your ability to actually able to process something so your body isn't dealing with inflammation and turmoil. I think healing that would heal people of so many things downstream. So many things we're fighting are inflammation based. And like you don't even realize that. So we treat so much stuff with that Band-Aid rather than going, hold on, this is cancerous. Like, let's just cut the shit out and then we can heal. So yeah.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah. And I love that too. My naturopath explained that to me when I started working with him. And he's like, if we don't fix your gut and your gut's ability to take in nutrients properly, you might as well just be eating fast food all the time. I went to the names of brands, but you might as well just be eating fast food all the time because your body's actually not taking any of the goodness out of what you're eating anyway. So
yeah, and I had someone the other day literally go, Ben, I feel like my gut is on fire. My throat is just like on fire, and I've had all this stuff. I've had all of it, and I'm like, he's like, well, do you have anything that would help? I'm like, I may have my lion's mane. I've had a few people tell me that their reflux has just gone away. I said, I can't guarantee it. I just like, I know that this is what they tell me. And I said, look, just try it. See literally how you feel in 5 minutes. He took it, and then he was like, okay, I'll see how it feels. And he literally stood, he made 10 paces, and he turns around and goes, holy shit. I feel that soothing me like nothing else has. He goes, I'll take 2 bottles. Because it's just like, he goes, it's instantaneous. And when the good stuff works, the good stuff works. And like, but that made a massive difference for how he was going to process like the next 30 days and allowing his gut to heal. And as we spoke earlier, like you can't heal your gut in 24 hours. Like rebuilding your enzymes and that bacteria and the flora and fauna and all that type of stuff and dealing with the whole parasites and all of this type of stuff. It's a process. And I just don't think people are really committed to that process, nor do they understand it.
yeah. Or it's like they just want the biohack or the quick fix, right? So
Yeah. The biohacks is if I take these pills and I wash it down with this energy drink, we're golden.
yeah, exactly. And if people want to come and buy your mushroom remedies or like their remedies, where's the best place that they can come and connect with you or find you or experience your
Bareremedy.net
products?
is where we're at. BARE Remedy. If you don't know how to spell remedy, I guess just Google it, or find a cat video that works for you. So bareremedy .net, and you can check it out. If you got any questions, you can call, message, email, send a ferret pigeon to our people, and our people will respond via ferret pigeon.
I love it. Amazing. I'd like to get on the ferret pigeon train. No.
Hey, you gotta put those pigeons to work. They can't just be shitting on stuff for no reason. Like put them back into the mail carrier service.
And I'll make sure to put all these details in the show notes. So if you are driving and listening, you can come back to this episode later. But if you like this, please feel free to like, share, and subscribe. If you heard this and think, oh my goodness, I reckon this would be amazing for someone to hear, this remedy would be really helpful for them, please share the episode or send them to Ben's website, because sometimes finding that relief or finding that product that you've been searching for to help your health and finding it so easily, it can be such a beautiful blessing on your life. And like we've talked about, it can really help restore your health on so many levels. So thank you, Ben, for sharing and allowing us some insight into how to be more aware of selecting health products, especially when it comes to mushrooms.
Hey, beautiful souls. It is Catherine Crestani here, and I wanted to have a chat with you about a really amazing cacao that I drink to help me get in ceremony, to help me ground, but also just because it tastes freaking good. So if you're curious and want to know about drinking something other than coffee or your standard tea, why not check out Creation Cacao? I love this with a bit of honey and cinnamon sprinkled in, and just letting it brew and having that whole intention as you create this cup. So if you're curious and want to know more, check out the link in the show notes and in the bio, and enjoy your cup of cacao. Thank you for listening to Willow Healing Matters, the podcast. We have so much love and gratitude that you have taken the time out of your day to empower you on your healing journey. The views shared by the person being interviewed might not necessarily reflect that of the host and should be used at your own discernment. Trust what resonates for you and follow your heart and soul guidance. If you have any underlying medical conditions or mental health issues, please consult with your healthcare provider before pursuing any of the recommendations. Likewise, you can always contact the person being interviewed to find out more information. This can be found in the show notes. Remember to activate, align, heal, empower, and find love in everything that you do.